in 1948, when Walter came down and asked me if I liked my beach deal, and I told him I did. He said, well, I want to build a racing airplane. I want you to front for me. I don't want anybody to know about it, especially Oliver. And I've got some ideas. So he told me what they were and told me what kind of airplane he wanted. So I found one up at Wichita Falls Air Base. There were several P-51C. And I traded a Bonanza to the Wagner ranchers who had bought all those things for one of these P-51s that had been sitting for about 2 years. I had a racing pilot working for me named Paul Penrose, who had been a North American aviation test pilot out at Los Angeles on the P-51s. So he wanted to build it there originally, and he was the United Airlines captain, and he could be there to supervise it. And so we built it originally on the Air Research's facility in Los Angeles Municipal Airport. North American engineers doing our engineering. And the idea Walter Beech wanted in it was to incorporate the radiators in a wingtip nacelle, so you get a little jet effect. All a jet engine is, you build a fire in the middle of a nacelle. By putting the radiators in the nacelles, we got a little jet effect and overcame the drag of those nacelles on the wingtips, as well as cleaned up the wingtip. That was Walter's idea on that. And when I told Paul what I wanted after he got the airplane out to Los Angeles, he says, well, J.D., that's a crazy idea. We ought to sink the radiators in the wing, leading edge of the wing. That'd be the cleanest. And I said, no, Paul, I want them in a nacelle on the wing tip. I want you to shorten the left wing 24 inches, and I want you to shorten the right wing 30 inches. That's what Walter wanted. And so he says, J.D., now you know that's crazy. I'm going to have to fly this airplane. I said, well, if you don't want to do it, just pack up and come on home, and I'll send somebody else out there that'll do what I want. And he said, well, okay, I'll do it because I'll do it. So he built the airplane with the nacelles, and he was in the midget races, and he left the airplane before it was completely finished. He left a boy named Roger Howard, who had been flying 51s, to bring it to us back at Cleveland. Walter and I were waiting there to Cleveland 48 races for the airplane. And Roger Howard mismanaged his fuel, and he was trying to make Wichita for a fuel stop, and he ran out of gas at Anthony, Kansas, and he belly landed it in a wheat field. He, of course, ruined the prop and the engine and did some damage. And after the race, we picked it up and brought it, and put a new engine prop in and ferried it to our facility here in Houston, and redid it for the 49 races. We missed out on the 48. Oh, get ahead. In the meantime, I was asking Paul how the airplane flew. I said, Paul, how did it fly with that 6 inches shorter right wing? He said, J.D., that was just such a crazy idea, we didn't do it. We didn't cut that off. And I told Walter, I said, Walter, they didn't shorten that right wing 6 inches more. He says they didn't. So when Walter went back to Wichita, and they had the airplane in a little hangar there, and Anthony picked it up and rolled it into a little he took a crew and he went down there and he cut 6 inches off of that right wing. So when it flew in the national air races in '49, it was 6 inches shorter than the left wing. Now, I don't know why he wanted it that way, but there's something about the way the air went around the fuselage or something. But all he would tell me was that all our turns are going to be to the left, and I want more drag on the left. But that wasn't the reason. But it flew good. The airplane flew good. It was fast. We flew it on an electrically timed course, mile course, 2 trips each way. Out here, we'd sit up at LaPorte at 3,400 RPM and 110 inches, 502 miles an hour. That was quite a bit faster than the land speed record at that time, which was held by a German Messerschmitt. And then when we got the airplane reworked and everything here did the testing here in Houston, and in about July, Bill Odom had made that flight from Honolulu to Teterboro, and a Bonanza set the world record. And we had Walter Beach, Ollie Van, and Bill Odom all down here for a party that we gave them over at the Shamrock to celebrate that trip. And of course, it was selling airplanes. Bill Odom was traveling around selling airplanes. The Bonanza that you see in that picture of the Beguine Bonanza on the right is the airplane he flew from Honolulu to Teterboro. And that was the occasion for Walter and him being down here, and us being able to get that picture. And Bill got interested in the airplane at that time. And Walter came down a little bit before the races in '49. And he said, J.D., he said, Bill wants to fly the Beguine in the race for us. And I said, well, Walter, we've made a deal with Spade Cooley. He's done all this testing, and there's no way, and the airplane's built for a small pilot, and Bill Odom's pretty tall. And Walter said, well, he really wants to fly it. He says that he has somebody that will buy it for him, and as you know, we've got a lot of money in it. And I said, well, now that's a different story. If he's got somebody that'll buy the airplane, I've got another 51 that I can let Spade Cooley fly, and I could make it up to him some way, but that's the only way that I'll agree to it, is to sell the airplane. And he did have somebody. He had Jackie Cochran. And so a few days later, Floyd Odlum, Jackie Cochran's husband, head of the Atlas Corporation, showed up in my office. Said he wanted to look at the Beguine. And we took it out, showed it to him. He went in the office and called Jackie, and he said, honey, this sure is a pretty little airplane. Says it's got nickel-plated stacks and plugs they put in it to keep bugs from getting in there. Said they made me take off my shoes before they let me walk on the wing to look at it, which we did. And he says, if you want it, I'll buy it for you. And she said she wanted it. And he says, okay, honey, I'll buy it. So he gave me a $100,000 check for the airplane about 10 days before the '49 races. He won the first race, the Ohio race, on Sunday, and then he was killed in Thompson on Monday, Labor Day. And that's when Walter and we got sick, and we started getting rid of our airplane. We quit racing. That was the end of our racing, and that was the airplane that ended the Cleveland National Air Races. Because he went through a house, killed a woman and a little baby. And Cleveland said, we don't want any more of this.